darn it. Hey everyone, this is Phil from Northern Wild Harvest, and we are out here in the middle of the Yukon Territory wilderness, living out here and harvesting morel mushrooms from previous year's wildfires. The mushrooms flourish mostly the year following a forest fire, and in northern North America we have a lot of boreal forests, like this boreal spruce tree right here. They burn naturally, and that's because the trees are so densely packed in the thick layer of muskeg and peat moss. When the fire gets in there, it just spreads through there, and it's part of the natural cycle of a forest up here. And magically, the year following a forest fire, as tragic as they are, there's a chance that a bunch of delicious mushrooms will pop out of the burnt forest floor, and that's where we come in. Today, we are going to be driving about an hour down the Klondike Highway, the iconic Gold Rush Highway, but we'll be hiking down an old forest firefighters trail through an ancient muskeg peat bog to a big hillside burn. And on that burn, we've harvested through there very selectively twice. We've left a lot of mushrooms to grow, and they've had a bunch of hot weather and sun for about 4 or 5 days of growing time. Now the question for us is, has anybody else found it? It's fair game if they have. So that's in our mind as we head out. Stay tuned for that, and let's get into another foraging adventure. Here's our security guard and camp master. Okay, here we go. Let's go! Although the wildfire is only about an hour drive away, it takes over 2 hours for us to drive and hike deep into the burn before we are harvesting morels. We are nearing the summer solstice here in the heart of the Yukon, and this time of year there is 24 hours of daylight. So we're able to work this patch for long hours without risk of getting stuck in the dark. Well, before we get to picking, we gotta refill our water jugs so we have water to drink while we're picking. Nice and clean and cool. Love getting bit by mosquitoes while you're getting your water. Onwards to the patch. Beautiful day today. Okay, we're about to head in. We've got our compasses set, GPS, drone, bear spray, first aid, radios. Do you like mosquitoes?
No, I just ate one though.
Yesterday we had a run-in with the black bear who snuck up on us while we were harvesting fireweed. Earlier this week we had to rush out of the bush back to camp to take Randy to the hospital after he received a serious injury to his hand. The closest medical attention located over 250 kilometers from our camp, plus the time it takes to get out of the bush, we know how important it is to have the right gear while working in the wilderness. Here's the burn. Now we get to see how the mushrooms have grown since we were here 4 or 5 days ago. These ones here didn't grow. They just blew out small, so they're no good now. The areas we're really interested in were more protected. They're kind of in where there's orange needles, so it's more likely that they'll be growing nicely. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Late stage fire morels, 3 of them here. Check this out. A different species.
Oh, there's another one up here.
One of the nicest varieties of morels. Another nice tomentosa right here, fire morel. But unfortunately there's bear scat next to it. A couple piles of bear scat, so we'll have to watch for him. Nice. There's quite a few in here now. Let's pick some morels. It's about 8 in the morning right now. Took 2 hours to get ready and drive out here, get water. Let's see what we find today. There's my old stem.
I don't see any wormies.
No, that looks okay. So these are all mature. They're small, but if you look at the gills, these are all mature. Woo! Ooh, look at those, nice. This have grown perfectly. Nice. Look at those. And there's my old stem. I'm gonna thin it now. Whatever is left probably won't grow much more. They're too mature, but leave some bit of extra spore in the area. That's a big one. Look at that pop.
A lot of small ones still, but this is a nice one. And it just keeps going up the hill too.
We divide the fire-associated morels into two major categories based on when they tend to grow throughout the season. These black morels are prime examples of the earlier fruiting species, whereas the gray morels we spotted on the way in are an example of one of the later fruiting species just starting. It's common to see the early varieties finishing their cycle just as the later varieties are starting theirs. Both the early and the late species will often flush up to 3 times each. All these babies still coming. So usually morels will start in these open black areas first, and they'll work their way into these more shady needle areas. So that's all right on trend. They're really starting to go into the dense trees. It's a good sign. Man, those are fresh. Now that is a perfect line of morels right there.
Holy cow!
Look at the quality of these. I'm going to take you down there and show you what I was just picking that whole time. Look at these. They're absolutely perfect. Really good tree. I came back for the camera because I wanted to film it, but there's some pretty good trees along the way as well. We'll work our way over to that good spot. Now these are getting a little too old. So there's a few we missed. First flush, no good, but then here's some signs from the second flush. Still looking just fine. See? Look at that. Hiding right around the tree. Pretty good. Trying to limit disturbing the soil. So that was more of a second or third flush there. This is definitely second flush here. And then first flush, anything we missed from the first flush is going bad. But these are just, they're perfect. Got to keep an eye out for bears. You get pretty zoned in on picking. And if you watched our last episode, had a bear sneak up on us while we were harvesting fireweed. Beauty. Okay, here's the good tree. Look at these. That one's got a bit mold. Like these. I've combined my buckets and I'm just gonna keep working this edge. If you can't tell, I'm right along the edge of the burn. These are often some of the best areas, and it's an easy way to pick the fire because you just follow that edge. And the mushrooms, as you can tell, they're just much nicer along that protected area where there's some green trees. So, you know, from a morel harvester's perspective, the perfect burn for morels wouldn't kill very many of the trees or any of the trees. It would just thin out a few of them and there'd be a mix of orange and green. That would be the perfect burn. Unfortunately, it often gets going a lot hotter than that. Excuse me. Just inhaled a mosquito. Now that one there, that's not mold, that is spore on there. And the way I'm gonna deal with that is just to trim it, you know? So I don't want, when we dry these, we don't want that spore spreading onto our other mushrooms.
Just found a section that we had missed the last couple days, just like a little strip, and totally huge, tons of them.
Okay, this is looking really good here. Take a look, they're all in good shape because they're in this protected area. This needly zone, look at them. It's a little more similar to our last season in this spot, but last year it was like this around almost every tree. And I'll take what I can get. This is pretty awesome. I'm very excited. Perfect. That's a nice one. Even as somebody who has harvested thousands of baskets of morels over the years, every now and then one still catches my eyes and makes me go, wow. So that was about 10 minutes. That's gotta be 7 pounds, 6 or 7 pounds around just this area here. There's so many. So nice to get into a good patch finally this season. Been a rough start to the season for us. If you've been following, we've checked quite a few burns. This is the only one where we found ground producing like this, and it's not like we haven't walked. It just keeps going up this hill. It's another 40 or 50 right in front of me.
That's a full bucket.
Let's fill this one up like that and then go back to the packs after that.
I'm just picking here, and I notice right over here some tomentosa, Marcella tomentosa, or gray blonde. And there's another one. And there's another one. There's a bit of a line right here. As you can see, I got more to pick right over there. There's another one. There's another one.
We're just going to go unload our buckets at the pack boards, have a snack, and probably go right back to where we just were. Well, it's tough to walk through this stuff because it tries to grab you, but can't complain about that view. We're back to the packs, and it's not supposed to rain today. It looks nice and clear. We won't be too far away. So what I'm actually going to do, since we're drying all these, I'm just going to put about a quarter basket in each of these instead of filling them full. That will allow them to start pre-drying in the wind and sun. It's all about how much we get dried right now, so might as well make them a little bit lighter when we're carrying them out and reduce the chance of them sporing sitting in the baskets here while we're picking. When morels are nearing the end of their cycle, they begin producing an abundance of powdery white spores. The mushrooms are the fruit of the living organism. Their purpose is to spread spore to further reaching areas than the mycelium can easily spread to underground. With the right gear, we are able to assist with this process, while we hike the mushrooms out of the bush across large distances. Take a look at that gray. Oh, it's so nice to see it.
Yeah, found another pretty nice one just very recently. One of the banana style.
Oh, nice. The central Yukon is surrounded by a series of major mountain ranges on all sides, creating a unique climate and bioregion. Because of its geographical location, the central Yukon has set the record for both the hottest and the coldest temperatures in the territory. The vast open wilderness lives up to the Yukon's larger-than-life slogan. It's a truly breathtaking place. At the end of the last ice age, a corridor opened up between the two major ice sheets, funneling down from Alaska and stretching through this part of the Yukon towards British Columbia. We are currently harvesting from the western arm of what was once known as Beringia. This passageway between the Laurentide and Cordilleran ice sheets is thought to have been one of the earliest places that flora and fauna were able to take hold as the ice age receded. This means that parts of the central Yukon have had longer to build up soil compared to the glacial scraped tundra in the northern Yukon. Heading back out, got a really good view of a section of burn through a band of green that we haven't actually looked at yet. So we might get into some untouched ground, which is super exciting because the mushrooms are huge right now. Holy, look at that. There's two here. There's a lot of morels here. Woohoo! They're all nice quality too. These are all just great. So we're gonna leave our buckets here and hike through this really annoying ground here because we see a patch about 300 meters that way on the hill. And we're just gonna go with the empty buckets and then we'll come back to these buckets on the way out and walk back to the packs. Hopefully we can fill these when we're over there. Ridiculous. Now these ones are no good, unfortunately. There's a lot.
I just found a bunch of tomentosa. We haven't quite seen them like this year yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Nice. Blondie, the stem. Oh. Barely big enough to pick. I just had to do it.
Out of water. Rest of my water's back at the pack. It's almost a kilometer of going through this. Almost back now. So you can see this is what the brush mushrooms look like. By having these in the sun and the wind, they look slightly, they're actually like decently pre-dried. Now the sun does cause a bit of sporing, like you can see here the heat causes a little bit of sporing, and again it's harmless. It's just not ideal. You're losing mass and it doesn't look as nice. If we had filled these full and left them in the heat, it would have been worse than having the wind on them. There's no way to avoid it when you're out here, really. Another break and then another bucket pick.
I like big morels.
So we've just had our first run-in with some other pickers here. We're about to come up into our packs about 10 minutes after we got back for our second lunch here. We're gonna take our packs with us now, just in case. Go further up the hill and keep picking. Hope to fill another 2 baskets. Okay, so 4 baskets each-ish, around there, 3.5, 4 each. But they're partially pre-dried, so it's actually a pretty good amount. But we're going to walk these pack boards through hell until we get to the next patch.
Then we'll come back. We'll have been to hell and back.
Oy. Swim through this with a pack board. Oh, that one in my ear. "300 meters of this. And then a big hill. It's getting pretty nasty now. Just gotta push through it. Well, this is what you look like when you've been through hell.
Dirty or something.
I live in a forest fire. Yeah, woo, those are nice. Look at those beauties.
It's so neat too, like same mushroom, just presenting totally different.
Yeah, round, tall. Got another basket there. Between us, about 2.5 baskets there. But we heard another picker, so we kind of came running back to our packs. You know, I've got the drone and stuff today. Probably move the packs again. Wrap these on and try to get one more bucket at least, eh?
Yeah.
And then we gotta go up the hill, pick some more, and then go down the hill. Pack boards and hills. I'm gonna pick around the pack boards here and go to the top of the big hill just to see what's going on up there. Being closer to the packs in case we hear voices, and those guys are gonna go further out without having to be anxious about the pack boards and all the gear. We've had some weird experiences in burns with other harvesters when it's really busy. What can happen sometimes is in some burns, people travel all this distance. Maybe they're a new picker with this promise of making all this money. It's very hard work and you don't always get lucky. And if it's a small burn and there's hundreds of people there, which we've experienced before, then people can get desperate and they might be trapped there. Usually it's friendly, but every now and then it can be less than friendly. So I'm going to show you another reason that I harvest morels with these. They're my way sticks. They're all dead trees. I can just carve myself a path as I walk. There's a big one. They're beauties. All right, I've come back to the packs just to take a look. No signs of anybody else. I don't hear anybody now. So I'm going to quickly go to the very top of this hill and see if there's any new mushrooms up there. I think I'm getting close to the top. Already drank about 4.5 liters of water today. Look at that view. There's a couple of tomentosa. Look at those beauties. $16 baskets for the 3 of us, a little bit of overflow in one of the buckets, and then all of our gear. But we did pre-dry the first 2.5, 3 baskets in the wind, so there's a lot of mushrooms in these baskets. Now we gotta hike these out of the bush, almost to the highway you see over there. Is right there. That feels so good. It's our day so far, 11.5 hours, just about 13.85 kilometers. And our trail today was the blue one. So our day isn't done though. Back at camp. How you doing, eh? Food to eat. Cooking away. That looks delicious. Oh, how's your day?
Good. Windy is crazy.
Yeah. Okay, we've had coffee, we've had dinner. Time to get back to work. Gonna do our daily weigh-in. .48.
10.27.
172.18. Now we're gonna do our pick of the day. We're gonna pick 10 mushrooms each, the 4 of us, and they will be separate. All high quality and also character mushrooms. We have fit most of the morels into our 2 dryers, and then there's a little bit of overflow on the racks. So here's the overflow, and then the other morels are in these 2 little dryers. The bottom drawer, there is our pick of the day. Should be about 40 morels in there. Each chose 10. All different colors, varieties, character. So they'll get bagged and weighed up separately at the end. Fire up our 2 dryers here and our auxiliary fan. With our bonus air, we're getting lots of movement.
6.21 pounds of dried.
Okay, so we've had our mushrooms in the dryer here for maybe an hour. Let's take a look. And they're dry to the touch. These look good. Usually the sporing would start pretty quickly. I don't see any. They were sporing in the baskets, so we do need to watch for that because there's already actively sporing mushrooms. As you can see, no real visible sporing at this point. Looks good. Normally you wouldn't put morels this deep in the drawers, but our system allows us to. So we finally had some neighbors move into our gravel pit here. A couple of guys living in Canada who are originally from France. Really nice guys. So we've got our neighbors and all the mushrooms are in the dryer. So we've basically been constantly working since we got up at 6 a.m., you know, getting our pack boards ready. It's now 11:15, so that was a good solid day. So if you enjoyed this episode, then consider liking and subscribing. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks for being here. If you have any questions about the mushrooms or about what we're doing, drop a comment below. We'll try to answer them when we get a chance. Let us know what you liked in the comments as well. And if there's anything else that you'd like us to show more of, then let us know, and we'll do our best to try to capture that when it's possible. It is quite a pain in the butt to add all the camera stuff while we're dealing with the pack boards and picking. But I'm still doing it, so I'll keep that going for a while. And thanks for watching. See you next time.